Hello and welcome to episode 3. This is a very special episode I have here for you guys today. This is with Blood Command's Nikki Brumen, and it is a very emotional listen back to, if that kind of makes sense. I found it very emotional listening back to it. It is probably the most emotional episode or interview that I think I've ever conducted, ever had. There's a kind of a lot of hard material going on here, looking back. And as an interview, it was quite hard in my position, listening to the stuff that Nikki was saying, because I kind of just wanted, it's moments like that where you kind of just want to, give someone a hug and really congratulate them in person for how far they've come and what they've accomplished, because she was so vulnerable with me. And the stuff she was saying was so powerful and so inspirational and just so not necessarily nice to hear in terms of, obviously I don't want her to go through that and don't want to see her going through that. Same with Yngve. But, the fact that they've, as artists, they've turned such tragic losses and betrayals and kind of, really, really tough times in both of their lives and really turn that into something that can be so relatable for people that are going through similar things at the same time is just really a testament to their artisticness and to how brilliant of an artist they both are. There is a lot of magic going behind their music and a lot of relatability, and the way that they've turned those tough times into something so powerful and so just so brilliant is really inspiring to, listeners, artists alike. Yeah, it really was tough going back and editing this and going through it, because I don't think I've ever had someone sit across from me, whether it be over a screen or whether it be in person, and be so vulnerable and so open. It's really what I seek when I do these interviews and when I sit down and talk to these people. It's really what I seek and really what I want to get from them. It's hard to listen to, but it really does. It gives an insight into their art and what is going behind the music, and that's why we do it. But yeah, I just want to thank Nikki and both Yngve for being so open with everything and being so open with their fans and just being so relatable. It's what we seek as people, wanting to look into the music, and it's what we seek to understand the music. And World Domination is probably, their strongest piece of work, strongest piece of art. You've been a music video for every single so far, and you really, really get the full Blood Command experience through everything that they've done so far. There's been a long period of making this album and it coming together, and it's such a special album, and it's going to be available on a few different formats. All the pre-order links are going to be below on social media. Keep up with their social medias, and they just have such a presence and just such a way with music. I don't know whether this is a Norwegian thing, but they really do. They really are special artists with so much going on and so much exciting things happening in the future. And it's like I said to Nikki when I spoke to her parents, Yngve's parents would be so proud of what they've accomplished and what they've got going on in the future, because there's so much exciting stuff coming from this band, and they've been on such a journey, such a crazy, wild journey to get to where they are now. They are such clever people, such wonderful people, and I really, really, and it does. I don't even need to hope that this comes through with our interview, because it really does. Nikki was so, softly spoken and just so energetic. It's lovely to have someone on the other side of the camera that's so energetic and really wants to be as open as they can. It really is. It's a game changer. It's so nice on my end, because you can really have a great chat with them. And yeah, the interview itself, it's probably my best work. It really, really is just such a wonderful interview, and I'm so excited for you to hear it. And, here it comes. I really, really hope you enjoy it. World Domination is out on the 29th of September, which is next Friday, which is going to be brilliant for everyone to be hearing. 20 songs, a really big album, really good piece of work. So, yeah. Be pre-ordering, be streaming the previous singles, the Heaven's Hate EP, and all the singles that go with it. Be streaming that and really showing your support for Blood Command, because they are really onto something here. So yeah, enjoy the interview.
Hey, Ross.
Oh, hello. Is that Nikki? Hello.
It is. Hi, how are
Oh,
you?
it's so good to see you. Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Oh my God, you're so cute.
Good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Excuse the surroundings. Yeah, excuse the surroundings. I was hoping to be in the studio, but the studios are having some work done or
The
something.
surroundings
They've
are
told me so.
beautiful.
Please
I mean, the blur is there, so it's all good,
but
huh?
yeah. Oh, but yeah, it is really good to see you. Thank you for joining me and
Oh,
thank
of
you for being here.
course.
I'm
Of
really
course. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's going to be great. I've got a load of exciting questions about the new album, the EP we've
Yep.
just had, loads of stuff to get into. So I'm ready to start whenever you are.
Great. Ready.
Brilliant. Okay, so my first question is there's a load of heavy kind of like moments on the Heaven's Hate EP. How do you maintain your voice? Because there's a lot of like softer elements going on where you've really got to have your voice intact. And then
Yeah.
loads of kind of like wailing going on. Like how do you maintain it?
This is a great question, actually. I'm a little bit different to some vocalists in that I was actually a screamer before I learnt to sing. So when I joined Blood Command, like I knew how to sing, but I'd never sung properly. So I think because I knew how to scream for 15 years or something. It's I've developed a technique where I don't lose my voice from doing it. Obviously some nights on tour, you might have the occasional like 5 shows in a row, have a raspy voice after 5 shows in a row. But yeah, I do lots of warm ups. I do lots of warm downs. I'm a bit of a vocal health geek. I believe in like placing your voice right. And yeah, I've got some like, tea that I drink and some remedies and so forth. So a good warm up though is the way that you can maintain it.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I need to know the secrets because sometimes after I finish these interviews, I'm a bit like my throat's going, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I was listening to it, and I was like, how is Nikki doing that? That is, that is so crazy. It must be really kind of like a lot, going into it. But yeah, that's really cool. That is really, really
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad to hear that the stuff going behind it. That is cool. I
Mhm.
like that. And just talking about the new album as well that's coming out, World Domination, 29th of September. Off the
Yes,
top of my head, 29th of
correct.
September. It's on the way.
Amazing. Love your
How
memory.
that's it. There we go. I mean, yeah, literally right off the top of my head. It's ingrained in my mind. Because I'm excited. I'm hyped. We've got I think it's
Oh.
6 songs on the Heaven's Hate EP. That's
Yes, so there's
those
six
songs.
there's six singles we released. And I love it that people call it an EP because it's not an EP. It's we have just released them sort of like as a waterfall, which means like you release each single and it
Yeah,
looks exactly like an EP. And I think it works really well as an EP too, which
yeah,
was, very intentional from us the way we wanted to release the songs. But yeah, there's 20 songs on World Domination, which is
yeah.
pretty crazy.
But yeah,
20 songs on an album is not the most common thing in this day
no.
and age.
No, and it's like you say, usually you get like the single releases. You don't really tend to see them like combined like with an extra one into an EP. But it's really nice. It's like a little like a mini album, like a taster that gets
It
you
is,
hyped for the album. And I've never really you don't really see that. But like this is
yeah.
I thought it was really cool. I was like, this is a nice little taster of what we can
Oh,
expect on
that's
World
sweet.
Domination. But yeah, did you
Yeah.
have a good time creating it? How was it creating the album?
It was amazing. I actually heard the songs when I was still living in Australia. Yngve, who is the main songwriter for Blood Command, he sent me the demos of all of the songs. Well, all of the songs he had at the time. I think at the time it was about 17 songs on the record, or maybe a few less. And then when I moved to Norway, we wrote the record together. We wrote the lyrics together and it was amazing. Neither of us had ever written with somebody else before, and let alone a person that we had just met each other, and I just found the writing process incredibly easy with him, incredibly fun. There were times when you get writer's block and we came up with nothing, but we'd always make we'd always then like put on other music and get inspiration or have a good conversation about something that was important to us. And then from those conversations or from listening to other bands, we would develop ideas. And from the get-go too, we had a really clear concept of what we wanted to write about. So it made the writing process really quite easy, but also really cathartic. And having somebody else there, like you couldn't cut corners, because if there was something we kind of half-assed, the other one would be like, no, we can do better. And we just pushed ourselves so hard that, I'm just incredibly proud of what we've done. And I think it's great. It's the best stuff I've ever written by far. So yeah,
Should
I was
be.
felt very privileged to be able to write with Yngve.
Yeah, it is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. Really, really good stuff. Probably the heaviest Blood Command's been as well. With a few of the songs there.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of read my mind, Nikki, to be fair, you kind of read my mind. Because I was gonna ask you how you stay motivated, like being so creative through that process, how you stay motivated as an artist, and you
I love that
answered it.
question. I
But
love that.
yeah.
It is a really good question too, because I know that a lot of songwriters, like people who write the lyrics, they find it can be really hard. And, I can't speak on behalf of everyone. I'm sure there's some people out there who find it really easy, but I'm definitely not one of those people. I have to really be in the headspace and I have to really be just in, yeah, the right mind frame to do it. So me and Yngve, we would generally do it after practice. So we would rehearse with the band. The three other guys would go home and we would stay in the rehearsal space. And, sometimes we'd have some drinks, start riffing ideas to each other. As I said, sometimes we'd just put on music if neither of us were feeling inspired at all. And we just start that way. And it was a really good way to do it because we just weren't forcing anything. And I guess as long as you don't force anything and you don't cut corners, I think you're going to be proud of what you do as a songwriter. I know I am. And yeah, I think another thing that helped sort of motivate it was I was going through a lot of stuff at the time, a lot of grief kind of stuff. I'd lost my parents to death, like they'd both died within a year, and I'd gone through a really crappy breakup. And Yngve had had a few things happen in his life where he had lost some people who were close to him, people who he thought were his friends weren't. I'd gone through similar stuff, and having that common ground gave us so much to write about,
Yeah.
because essentially the record really is really about loss, like things that we'd lost at that time in our lives and looking at like different ways of dealing with that loss. But yeah, it made it really easy to write stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my God, Nikki, that is really hard to hear. Really, really
Oh,
hard to
thank
hear.
you,
But
Rob. Yeah.
they would literally be, so proud of you, so proud
Oh,
of what
so
you've done, and so
cute.
proud. No, they would. Honestly, they would. They would be so proud of,
Oh, that's
how far you've come
beautiful.
and where you are currently and where you
Oh,
will be, because there's so much exciting stuff going on for you, and that's going to be coming out really, really soon. And yeah, it's really inspiring to hear you say that and hear you talk about kind of that tragic loss and kind of what you've turned it into and really grew yourself from. It's really hard to hear, but you know you should be so proud of yourself and how
oh,
you've got through that period of your life where it was so tough. But I mean, look at what you're doing now and look at how fabulous
yeah.
everything is now. That's a strength that you've got to take
And I
to carry you
think it's
forward.
like it's a good point, and there's such beautiful words that you said. And I think it's a really good a positive from going through sort of really hard stuff like that was if I hadn't have been going through that at the time, I don't think I ever would have actually moved to Norway.
Yeah.
I needed change in my life, and something that else also Yngve and I bonded over. His mother had passed away a few years before we were writing the record. And again, it was something that we were able to bond over in the writing process. And we've actually both got a song for our mums on the record, which is really beautiful too.
Brilliant. That is
Yeah.
so good to hear. And what was it about Norway that made you make the move over there? What was it about Norway specifically? Was it the
Yeah,
industry? Was it the people? What was it?
I've always been obsessed with Norway. I visited in 2011. I was a typical young girl obsessed with black metal music who wanted to come and see the black metal scene. Now we have kind of an in joke here in Bergen. We call those people black packers, like black metal backpackers. I was a black packer back in the day. And I came and visited, and I said to my twin sister, who I was traveling with, I said to her one day when we got to Bergen, because we spent most of the time in Oslo, I said to her when we got to Bergen, one day I'm going to live here. And I kid you not, like nearly 10 years later to the day, give or take a few months, I was joining a Norwegian based band and moving to Norway. And I just couldn't believe it. I've always had this interest in Norway because of the music that comes from here. I just think Scandinavians create the best music. Like the Swedish create the best music in the world, in my opinion. You know, Norway is not too far behind.
Yeah, it's yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
And
I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
yeah, and I got the offer to join Blood Command when my old band Pagan split up, and I was actually a really big fan of Blood Command before I even got that message. So it's just like this weird fate thing that I was always
Yeah,
meant to move here.
yeah.
I think I've manifested it almost. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I was gonna say that it is literally like exactly like a fate thing. It's really
Yeah.
strange, really, really strange, but
Yeah.
so artistic as well. It kind of, the words that were, echoing in my head when you were mentioning that was like a true artist would do that. Do you know what I mean? A true artist would follow the music and really make those sacrifices and
Yes.
follow what they love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was what was ringing in my head then. I was like, yes, Nikki,
Oh,
let's
that's
go.
so
I love it.
cute.
But yeah, it's just brilliant. It's really, really good to hear. And I've interviewed a few artists from around that way, and they are like literally the most creative and some of the most hardworking people, on the
Yes.
planet, making music and getting it out there. And it's some of the most different music, but it really, really crosses, over into the smallest corners of the world where it's being heard and explored and listened to. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I think that's very much a situation with you guys. And it's quite an apt title, World Domination, because it
Yeah,
is literally world based. It could be played anywhere and fit in anywhere. It's a very
exactly
apt title.
right. I love that.
It is. It's a very
Well
apt title. I
said.
love it. I do love it. But also we've got the physical releases as well coming out for World Domination. We've had a few CDs and vinyls in the past, and we've got these vinyls now. I think it's a clear one with
Mhm.
green
Mhm.
kind of like spots on
Yeah.
it, which is
Yeah.
very cool looking. And
Yes,
then
I
we've got the
love that one.
purple
That's
one as well.
awesome.
The purple one too. Did you guys
Yes,
pick the colors? I've always wanted
we
to ask
did.
this.
Yeah, Yngve is he's very hands-on with the design stuff, and he and I choose the vinyl colors. Yeah, so
Brilliant.
it
Really
was
good choices.
really weird. We both said, I'm not kidding, we both got like the sheet of, you get like, a whole bunch you can choose from, and we both came up with the exact same idea. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, we're both like, do one like this or one like this. And we're just like, how do we both think of the exact same thing? We're just so in sync with this record. It's been quite amazing. So yeah,
It's
we
great to
chose them.
see.
I'm glad you like them.
Yeah, I did. I did. I really like them because it's nice to have them because they are kind of polar opposites as well. So there's two completely different ones to choose from. And it's just nice to see a physical release anyway.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? And just to have something physical, from an artist, it really helps with that kind of like connection. It's just
Yeah.
nice. It's just really nice to have. And you've got that side of the industry where we've got the physical stuff coming out and the songwriting, which you've talked about. Talking about live stuff now, you guys, you really do the live stuff amazingly. I've seen some videos and I've seen some clips recently where you guys just go at it and it's completely wild. It looks amazing. Um, and I think you guys are coming to the UK. I've got
Hmm.
that right. Right. So we've got
We've
a
got a
tour
tour
going on.
in early December for World
Yes. Yeah.
Domination. The only problem with the tour is because we've just called the tour the World Domination Tour, but so
Yes.
many fans who aren't in the areas that we're going are like, this isn't the World Domination Tour. And we're like, well, Yngve made a really good point. He was like, well, when Pink Floyd did what was the name of their record? To the Moon.
Oh, Dark
Dark
Side.
Side of the
Yeah,
Moon.
yeah,
He's like, when they released Dark Side of the Moon, do you think they went to the moon? I was like, it's actually a good point. But no, we're not doing a total world tour, but we are going to the UK. We're doing the Netherlands, Germany, and some parts of Scandinavia, so Finland and Sweden. So it'll be really great. I'm so looking forward to going back to the UK. I love
yeah,
touring there. I love touring everywhere in Europe. It's just such a
yeah.
luxury being an Australian person. Um, you don't get to travel to another country without sitting on a plane for 8 hours if you're from Australia. So yeah, it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, and we cannot wait to have you. It's going to be brilliant.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the crowds here, there's some really, really kind of like people that really enjoy the kind of heavier side of music. I'm one of them. I love it. And those crowds are some of the most electric crowds that you'll find anywhere. They go crazy. They love this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
the energy is unmatched. And so yeah, we're really excited to have you and excited to see you guys come along, and I'll be attaching all the dates so everyone can find out where they can come see you. Be
Awesome. Thank
amazing. It'll be
you.
amazing. But okay, so just kind of like wrapping up now because I know your time is very precious, Nikki.
No, no,
um
you do what you gotta do.
but yeah, I mean, I love talking to you. You're literally great. You're lovely to talk to. You've got so much to say, and I love it. I love it when it's like this, and it's there's just so much
Yeah.
interesting stuff being said. What would you say? I mean, this is probably the toughest question of the lot, right? And it's
Okay.
a very common question, but I love this question because you get to see a proper insight, right? What would you say is your proudest moment so far of your whole musical career? It might not even be musical. It might just be to do with you.
I think like the thing that stands out for me the most and that makes me the most happy is that my mum, she came to see my old band Pagan play. And this, at the time, I didn't realize she was going to be diagnosed with cancer like a year later. And she was well at the time. So I invited her to a show. We were playing with this punk band from Australia who's very well known, called Frenzal Rom. And my old band Pagan was supporting them, and I invited my mum to the show. And it was the first show she'd ever seen me play. And I was just so proud and so happy she was there. And she stood up the front the entire time going like this, like the whole time we were playing. So I think that's my proudest moment because she got to see us and she got to see me do my thing before she
Yeah,
passed away. So
yeah,
it definitely
exactly.
helps that.
And you know what? That is probably my favorite. I've done a ton of these interviews. That's probably my favorite answer
No,
question because it has warmed my heart so much. Honestly, it has.
I
And
mean, I wish I could say winning a Grammy or something, but that
no,
really
no, no.
that would have beat it anyway. So
No, honestly, exactly. There you go. Exactly. It could be anything, but that was so special to you. And that's what people want to see, and that's what people want to hear, and it's
yeah.
just a great answer. And it really has warmed my heart, hearing that.
Oh,
It really has. And, like I said before, they would be so proud of everything that you've got going on right now and the way you've turned, that tragic loss into something and used it to power you through is just it's so inspiring for people to see, and
oh, thank
people are going to be so inspired
you.
by it because there's a lot of people going through stuff like that, and it's the relatability aspect,
Mm,
and yeah,
exactly. That's what I
really
want out
tough.
of music too. So yeah,
But
I
yeah,
agree with that completely.
but yeah, Nikki, we can't wait for the release. It's going to be
Yay.
fabulous. We can't wait for the tour, and yeah, I'm just so excited for everything that's going on
Thank you
with you
for
and the
such a
band and the
lovely
rest of the guys.
chat.
But
It
yeah,
was so
thank you.
nice chatting with you. Thank you for having me.